In this video, we're going to be talking about abiogenesis or genesis. This basically refers to the start of life. This is the theory scientists have of how life kind of formed from inorganic and non-living matter into living matter. So if you look at this diagram here, this little flow chart, we have kind of like in a very simplistic way how it kind of formed. We started with a habitable world. Then we made these macromolecules, if you remember from your high school biology class. Then we formed protocells, like pre-cells that had very basic functions. Then we had our last universal common ancestor, which then spread into the diversity of life. And to make these protocells, we needed the essential macromolecules, and this is what scientists think are the ways in which these occurred. So we actually need 3. You might remember in your high school biology course you needed 4. You needed your carbs, lipids, amino acids, and genetic instructions, RNA/DNA, stuff like that. But we're actually going to cut out the sugars in here, the carbs, because they're actually not really needed. I say this because the cells learn to produce that to have energy. To store energy, that is. Carbs is just storing energy, and that's something that was kind of evolved into the cells. But we had lipids. These make up the cell membrane, so the skin of the cell. We have amino acids, which kind of help with all the functions of the cell. They're proteins. And then we have genetic instructions, and that's going to help replicate the cell and just hold that genetic code. Just so you know, all these existed in a primordial soup. That means that all these macromolecules kind of live together in this soup of elements on our Earth. So I want to get into all 3 of the macromolecules that were needed back then to make the first cell. First, we have lipids. Lipids, again, create the skin of the cell. They were more specifically phospholipids. There's a bunch of other lipids, but to make the cell membrane, it's phospholipids. How it kind of formed the skin is the hydrophilic heads, meaning it loves water, is going to face the water because water is polar, hydrophilic is polar. They're going to look at each other, basically. And then you have the hydrophobic tails, which don't like water. They're water hating, and they turn away from the water. So it kind of creates this natural skin. We call it the phospholipid bilayer, 2-layer. If you kind of look at this picture, you can kind of see how it faces the water. And this is going to create a natural sphere kind of shape, and it's going to make, it's going to form like the skin or the capsule for the other macromolecules we need. So we have amino acids. This is going to help with your cell functions, remember, and they're critical for life. We know that amino acids were able to be formed back then naturally through the Miller's experiment. This was an experiment done in 1952. They took evaporating gases such as H2O. Now, I want you to kind of think about this. These were in this kind of shows H2O being lifted up into the tube along with CH4 and NH3, along with what do you call those? Diatomic hydrogen, H2. These were all gases that were very abundant on Earth. So think about how they're getting formed into the clouds. So that's why they are evaporating it in this experiment. It comes over and moves through a spark. This simulates lightning, and that actually means that the catalyst of the reaction is lightning. It cools it, which happens when it rains, and then it's going to come in this little trap, and that's going to contain the amino acids. How did they know? Well, the solution turned pink, then red. And that's kind of what told them there were amino acids. They tested it, and of course there were amino acids there. And scientists don't really know how amino acids got into the lipids. Like, how did it go into the bilayer? Well, actually, it was either caused by an event or just pure chance. One of the two. Genetic info RNA was the first genetic material to be created. So it was first RNA, that single-stranded. Remember, this is the disposable copy of genetic information. And then it turned into DNA, which is the double-stranded kind of long-term code, follow this rule kind of code. So the theory of how this was synthesized is a bunch of nucleotides in the primordial soup kind of just came together, and they made this RNA strand. So this actually caused the protocell to form. It's not 100% known, just like amino acids in RNA, but it is thought of to happen by chance. Some say an event might have happened. But all you got to know about these is that these were extremely basic cells. They could live, replicate, and repeat. That's about it. Nothing really special to them. And through evolution, the protocell evolved into the last universal common ancestor, which then diversified into life. The bacteria, the archaea, the eukaryotes, stuff like that. And that's about it, guys. That is the origin of life. If you guys did enjoy, please like, subscribe, do anything to support. See you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.